Hey everyone, welcome to the second episode of the hottest podcast in town, Conquer AI Search with AI. We're here to help you navigate the fascinating world of AI search platforms like ChatGPT, Google AI, and Perplexity AI. I'm Avi, and alongside me is Catherine. We're both part of AI Monitor, a startup helping brands shift from SEO to something we call Generative Engine Optimization, or GEO for short. It really feels like the ground is shifting under our feet when it comes to finding things online.
It really does.
Used to just, Google it, right? That was the default. But things are definitely getting shaken up now.
Yeah, that dominance isn't quite as unchallenged as it once was.
So today, we're going to dive deep into this whole evolving world of online search. We know everyone wants to stay informed, but, without drowning in technical stuff.
Exactly. It's about cutting through the noise, really, and understanding what these changes actually mean for all of us.
And we've pulled together quite a range of sources for this.
We have. We've got stuff from TradingView, Forbes looking at the money side, how investors are seeing things.
Like the financial angle. And then we've got CMS Wire and our USI for that expert analysis, the bigger picture, tech, and even geopolitical context.
And we didn't stop there. We even dug into Reddit, places like OpenAI and our ChatGPT, to get a real sense of what actual users are thinking and saying.
Yeah, see what people on the ground are experiencing. Plus, a comparison of some of these leading AI models, how they actually stack up.
So the mission today for you listening is pretty straightforward. Pull out the really crucial insights about this AI competition Google's facing. What are the key shifts? What might be coming next? We'll break it down.
Okay, let's get into it then. Straight away, it's pretty clear Alphabet, Google's parent company, has been feeling some pressure.
Mm-hmm.
That TradingView piece really highlights it with the numbers. Stock down over 20% year-to-date back in early April 2025.
Yeah, and 28% below its 52-week high. That's bear market territory.
Definitely. Now, okay, they mentioned tariffs and trade stuff played a role, but the article really points to the growing competition from generative AI. That's a major factor.
It is. That stock drop isn't just, a blip. It shows the market is really assessing this threat. Investors are watching these AI alternatives closely.
And it's not just one alternative, is it? It's like a whole wave.
Exactly. You've got OpenAI's ChatGPT, which really kind of kicked things off in late 2022.
Right. That was the big one everyone started talking about.
Then there's Elon Musk's Grok, Anthropic's Claude, Google's own Bard, which is now Gemini, xAI's Grok, too. It's suddenly a crowded field.
And for the user, the experience is quite different, isn't it? Compared to just getting a list of blue links.
Totally different. You get these fast, personalized answers. It feels more like a conversation.
Like you ask something, and boom, there's an answer, not just places to look for an answer. That TradingView article mentioned younger users, Gen Z, millennials. They're really leaning into this.
Yeah, they value the speed, the convenience, just get the info right there.
And that directly challenges Google's whole model, right?
Yeah.
The ad-driven search thing.
Precisely. If you're getting the answer directly from the AI, you're probably not clicking on those sponsored links or even the organic ones as much. Less clicks, less ad revenue. It's a fundamental threat.
So where does Google actually stand right now? I mean, the numbers are still huge. TradingView said about 88% U.S. market share in late 2024.
Oh, yeah. They're still dominant, no question. And their revenue, search and other, was up 12.5% in Q4 2024. That's $54 billion.
Wow. And they're saying some of that growth actually came from their own AI features, like AI overviews.
That's the key. Google isn't just sitting back. They're actively putting AI into search results with things like AI overviews, those summaries you see at the top now.
Ah, right. The idea is to keep you right there on Google.
Exactly. Keep the user in their ecosystem.
But how's that working out? The TradingView piece suggested it's kind of a mixed bag.
It seems so. Google says engagement within search is up, but there's other data showing maybe an 8.9% drop in clicks going out to other websites.
Ooh, 8.9%? That's not insignificant. But people might be using Google, but maybe not leaving it as much.
That's the tightrope Google is walking. They provide helpful AI summaries, great.
Yeah.
But doing that risks starving the very websites that supply the information their AI needs. It's tricky.
Yeah, you need those websites to have something to summarize. And Google's throwing a lot of money at this, aren't they? $75 billion capital expenditure for 2025.
A massive number. That's a 43% increase. It shows how seriously they're taking this. It's all about AI and cloud infrastructure, building out Gemini, the data centers.
So the plan is just embed AI everywhere.
Pretty much. Make it integral to everything they offer. That level of spending shows they see this as an existential challenge. They need to lead in AI integration.
Okay, let's switch gears a bit and look at the competitors themselves. That CMS Wire article had a nice little history lesson, reminding me Google wasn't first.
Not at all. You had Archie way back when, Lycos, Yahoo, AltaVista, a whole bunch of early players.
So what made Google win out in the end? The article touched on it.
Yeah, CMS Wire put it well. It was a mix. Relevance, definitely. Speed was huge, too. They just gave better, faster results.
Plus more index pages, right? And that super simple interface.
Exactly. Compared to the cluttered portals back then, it was refreshing.
It's funny to think about those old pages now. And the article also explains why it's been so hard to compete since then.
Oh, absolutely. Google's relentless focus just on search, the massive data advantage they built up for their algorithms.
And constant innovation like PageRank, then RankBrain, BERT, MUM, always improving.
Right. Even Microsoft, with all its resources, Bing has struggled to get even 10% market share.
And those privacy ones, DuckDuckGo, Neva, which it doesn't even exist anymore.
Yeah.
They found it tough going too.
The network effect in search is just incredibly strong. More users mean more data, means better results, means more users. Breaking that cycle is tough.
But now we have these AI-powered guys.
Yeah.
Let's talk Perplexity AI. CMS Wire calls it a hybrid.
Yeah, it sort of blends AI research with a more traditional search engine approach. It uses large language models like GPT and Claude if you pay.
And it has its own web crawler too, Perplexity Bot.
It does. What makes it interesting is it's focused on giving you direct answers, but with sources cited right there.
Ah, so you can check where the info came from.
Exactly. For complex questions where you need a summary from multiple places, it's pretty good. It synthesizes the info and shows its work, basically. Helps deal with that whole AI hallucination problem.
That sourcing seems crucial. And they have an uncensored version too, based on something called DeepSeek R1, R1 1776.
Yeah, that's noteworthy. Which brings us nicely to DeepSeek AI itself, Chinese startup. Forbes highlights its cost-effectiveness, strength in coding, math.
And the USI commentary really digs into how it might challenge U.S. dominance in AI.
What's really interesting about DeepSeek is its efficiency. Our USI talks about their mixture of experts approach.
Mixture of experts, what's that?
Instead of one giant AI model, they use several smaller, specialized ones. The system activates the right expert model for your specific query.
Oh, okay. So that uses little computing power.
Potentially, yeah. Significantly less, maybe. Which is a big deal because it could make them less reliant on those super high-end chips the U.S. has export controls on.
Right. They claim training costs were low, like $6 million, though maybe higher in reality.
The exact number is debated, but the focus on efficiency is clear. It's a different path than just building bigger and bigger models.
But there's that question hanging over it.
Hmm.
Did they train it using data from other models, maybe OpenAI's? The IP issue.
That's a really thorny question, yeah. If they distilled knowledge from other systems, it raises huge questions about fair play in the global AI race. It has major geopolitical ripples.
And our USI suggests DeepSeek could be more than just a search tool, potentially a geopolitical one.
Absolutely. If they can offer capable AI much cheaper, China could become the go-to AI partner for developing economies, say in Africa, Latin America, Southeast Asia.
Extending influence through tech, maybe linked to things like the Belt and Road Initiative.
Potentially. If Chinese AI gets embedded in finance or logistics in those regions, it boosts China's economic intelligence. But it also, could introduce cyber vulnerabilities.
And potentially shift reliance away from U.S. semiconductor designs, too. Big strategic stuff.
Definitely. It affects the whole global tech power balance.
So, faced with this, what should the U.S. and allies do? Our USI had some ideas.
Yeah, they suggest focusing on algorithmic efficiency ourselves, getting smarter, not just bigger. Also, reassessing semiconductor policy, though that's complex.
Right, maybe tweaking export controls or finding other ways.
Possibly. Plus, hardening our own critical infrastructure against AI manipulation and really developing an active AI diplomacy strategy to offer alternatives.
Diplomacy, like offering other tech partnerships.
Exactly. Engaging actively with those emerging economies.
And our USI mentioned something called Jevons paradox in relation to AI. How does that fit in?
Right. Jevons paradox is this idea that when technology makes using a resource more efficient, we often end up using more of it overall, not less.
Okay, so apply to DeepSeek.
Well, its efficiency and lower costs could actually spur wider AI adoption globally. So instead of reducing resource use, it might just increase China's overall influence in the AI space because more people are using their efficient tech.
Huh. So efficiency doesn't necessarily mean less impact, could mean more.
Paradoxically, yes. Some see this whole DeepSeek situation as a kind of Sputnik moment for the US, a wake-up call to innovate and invest strategically.
Definitely sounds like a complex, competitive landscape. Now let's get back to the users. What are people actually saying on places like Reddit? Those OpenAI and our ChatGPT threads must have opinions on DeepSeek.
Oh, absolutely. A lot of chatter there. What comes up quite a bit is people finding DeepSeek's standard model performs pretty comparably to ChatGPT's basic one, the O1 model.
But cheaper, especially the API access.
Significantly cheaper, yeah. That's a major point. Some users even say it's better for certain things, like logic puzzles, which kind of backs up that point about its reasoning abilities.
Interesting, but it's not all positive, right? Weren't there concerns about censorship?
Yes, that comes up too. People mentioning they can't get it to criticize China or discuss sensitive topics like Tiananmen Square if they use DeepSeek directly.
Which contrasts with that uncensored version Perplexity offers, the R1-1776.
Exactly. It highlights how the platform implementing the model can add its own guardrails or biases. It depends on who developed it and where it's operated.
And the usual suspects: data privacy, security concerns.
Especially with a Chinese company.
Unsurprisingly, yes.
Mm.
Big threads about whether data goes to the Chinese government, risk of IP theft if you use it for coding.
But though, to be fair, other people probably point out that all online services collect data, right?
That counterargument is there too, yes. And some mention the open source aspects as maybe offering some transparency, but the geopolitical context makes those worries understandable for many.
How does DeepSeek R1 stack up against OpenAI's models in user comparisons?
Well, like we said, some find R1 matches or even beats the standard ChatGPT O1 for reasoning. They also like that it sometimes shows its thinking process.
But OpenAI's top model, the O1 Pro, still better.
Generally considered superior for really complex stuff, yeah. But the cost is a huge factor, like $200 a month. That's just not feasible for most people.
Yeah, that's steep, which creates an opening for cheaper alternatives like DeepSeek. Definitely. Price is a massive differentiator in this market.
And speaking of OpenAI, apparently even their own search feature in ChatGPT is causing some grumbles. Saw that on the our ChatGPT thread.
Yeah, users seem frustrated with the limits on searches if you're a paid subscriber using the fancy 4.0 model.
Limits compared to Google's free unlimited search.
Exactly. People are like, wait, I'm paying and I only get so many searches with the best model. Seems counterintuitive when search is usually free.
And they wish they could use a cheaper model, like a 4.0 mini maybe, for basic searches within ChatGPT.
That seems to be a common request. Offer a tiered approach within search itself. It feels like maybe a bit of a misstep by OpenAI, not quite understanding user expectations around search accessibility.
Okay, so pulling back again. The future. What does it look like? CMS Wire seems pretty convinced AI is changing search for good.
I think that's a safe bet. The landscape is definitely being reshaped, probably permanently.
Is it going to be one or the other? More of a mix.
The hybrid future idea from CMS Wire seems most likely. You'll probably still use traditional search for like quick facts, navigation, real-time news.
Finding a website or checking the weather.
Right. But then you'll turn to AI search for more complex stuff, getting summaries, comparing ideas, tackling nuanced questions.
And that must mean big changes for online marketing too. No more just stuffing keywords in.
Hopefully less of that, yeah. As AI gets better at understanding intent, what you really mean, and using things like location, marketers will have to focus on genuinely useful content that matches that intent.
More about quality and relevance, less about gaming the system.
That's the idea. Context becomes king.
But it doesn't sound like AI replaces search engines entirely. More like they become companions, partners.
I think so. As CMS Wire noted, traditional search is already weaving in AI. Think answer boxes. People also ask. AI enhances search, makes it smarter.
They evolve together.
Exactly. Making search more informative, more useful, hopefully.
And hovering in the background of all this is still the whole third-party cookie saga, right? CMS Wire brought that up.
Yeah, Google keeps delaying, phasing them out, developing their privacy sandbox. It affects everything, including how both traditional search and AI search might handle advertising and user understanding in the future.
Still trying to balance privacy and the ad model that powers so much of the web.
It's an ongoing tension. Finding ways to deliver relevant ads without invasive tracking is the challenge for everyone, search engines and AI platforms included. Probably more reliance on first-party data and privacy tech.
Okay, so let's try and wrap this up for everyone listening. What are the key things to take away from this deep dive?
Well, first, AI is definitely a major force shaking up the search world. Google's dominance is facing a real challenge, maybe for the first time in a long while.
Right. And it's not just one challenger, but a whole bunch of different AI models, each with different strengths. Perplexity for sources, DeepSeek for efficiency, Gemini's integration.
Exactly. And these aren't just tech developments in a vacuum. They're tied up with big geopolitical questions, economic competition, especially with players like DeepSeek emerging from China.
And we heard from users, too, the excitement about new capabilities, but also real concerns about things like cost, censorship, and data privacy.
It's a complex picture with lots of angles.
So to leave you with something to chew on,
Okay.
given how fast AI is moving in this complex global picture,
Yeah.
what kind of unexpected changes might we see in how we find information, say, in the next few years?
That's the big question, isn't it? Will we get some kind of truly neutral, globally accessible AI search? Or will it always be shaped by corporate competition, national interests? Think about how you look for information now and how that might change. It's definitely something worth pondering.
And that's a wrap on today's deep dive into the swirling world of AI search. Catherine and I hope this episode left you buzzing with insights and maybe a few healthy questions. If you loved geeking out with us, drop a comment. We're all ears for your feedback, reviews, or even your wildest AI predictions. Don't forget to smash that subscribe or follow button so you never miss an episode. Next Saturday, we're back with another power-packed episode to help you dominate the AI search revolution. Until then, keep questioning, keep searching, and remember, the future's just a query away. Catch you next week.